Hello again, this is Shane from Saberbay with another video to talk about the new Valor V2. So the Valor V2 is a successor to the first Valor Hilt, which was made a while ago. Designed it just sort of as a blank canvas DIY hilt. Wanted something that could be customizable, fairly easy to install, pretty basic, cheap, etc., etc. So the V2 came back with a couple of changes. A couple changes are a longer shroud. The inner diameters are a little more conveniently sized for installation, and then kept just some of the other same things as the last one, like these knurled sections here, the hidden sound venting, and then some of these shine through areas. So not much has changed from the previous Valor, but different enough to warrant a V2. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the chassis designs, its compatibility with some various parts, how to tell the difference between knowing what chassis design you need, and just showing off a couple of custom things here that I've already done. So starting with this is already installed. I'll boot it up real quick.
Sound bank selection. At last.
I have this one installed with CFX. I've got a blade plug in there as well. Let's go ahead and turn it on. So maybe a little bit too loud for the video, I apologize, but wanted just to share how loud it actually is. So you have a 28 millimeter speaker for the chassis designs that I've rolled out, removable battery, kill switch, and you have some board access right there. Now most of these chassis designs are fully removable as well. The only one that is not is the AV switch style, which I'll show why in just a little bit. So for chassis retention, you will take one of these little screws right here, which will be slightly longer, just kind of loosen that up. Sometimes you can use both screws. Mainly if it's powder coated, it adds a little bit of, thickness. And then this will just slide out like that. So this is what a fully installed chassis looks like. Pixel connector, tactile switch. All these similar designs, the removable ones, are single switches. The only way you'd get a dual switch is either with a custom modification to a hilt, or if you're using a dual tactile switch holder or something similar like that. So this particular chassis is designed for the actuators that I sell here. This is a copper one as an example. In the hilt that I just shared, that is a brass. But you'll see it looks a little bit different because it has some notches. Basically, it's going to custom fit this actuator so it can slide past it. So if you're selecting your chassis and you're going to use one of these, then you know this is the type of chassis that you want. And actually here is chassis in another color. Maybe you can see a little bit more definition for that channel, but otherwise it's identical. Anyway, so that is one of the 4 chassis. And again, they are removable, so you can take them out, which is handy if you're going to be doing some customization. Let's say you already bought one that's installed, or you want to do your install first. You can remove all the electronics and do any customization that you want. So that will just slide back in there. And once you have that where it needs to go ahead and just tighten that back up. Nice and secure. Nice, satisfying tolerance. All right, so that is 1 out of 4. On to the next one. We'll use this hilt as an example model. This just has some basic powder coating done to the shroud. Lots of customization that you can do in general on the website listing, it has the option to add a powder coated shroud, and then you would just say what color you want. But that doesn't mean that is the only powder coating you could do. You could add more, it just costs more. So it's just kind of subject to the type of project and whatnot. So for this one, we're going to show the, we'll do the typical AV switch setup. Now this one is not fully removable because, well, obviously if you're wiring the switch in this area, you won't be able to pull it out. It would disconnect switches, and so that does make it somewhat static. And for this option, the chassis looks the same except for this right here. It is sized to allow that to fit. And also, one thing that comes with these chassis is a little spacer ring. This is required, and it goes over like this. It raises the height of the switch just enough so that when you put everything together, and if you can imagine your soundboard here, without that spacer, the switch would collide with the bottom of the board, and we don't want that. So this gives a bit of a gap between where the bottom of your switch would be and the soundboard itself. And that is something that just had to be added because of space constraints. If someone else does their own chassis design, maybe they'll find a workaround for that. Or you just simply use a different type of switch. But if you do want to use something similar to this, that is what you have to do. But it's not terrible. I think it makes the switch access more accessible, seating higher. So I don't mind it, but if that's a deal breaker for you, then you know, there might be another workaround. But this also allows the chassis to slide out just a little bit, which I think is kind of nice. Gives you a little bit more room for accessing the board. So that's kind of cool. And then similar to the other designs, once you're satisfied with everything and ready to secure it, tighten it down with the retention screw so it doesn't move. Slide everything back together. And obviously also you would, you know, want to glue all this stuff in so that it doesn't fall out like that. But don't do stuff like that until you're just about finished with your install. Okay, so we're going to set that one to the side now. Let's move on to the knurled actuator version for this hilt. I already have one of these glued in because I was testing it. Now, if you're going to use a knurled actuator like this, it's very kind of clan hilt, prequel style. I sell these in a few different colors. So if you want to go that route and you want a chassis for this, then there is one designed specifically for that. This is almost the same chassis as the one you just saw. It has this channel still, but it has a spot for the tactile switch here. Let's see if I can grab, put that in. So your tactile switch sits right there. And then basically insert just like that. Should slide into place. Nice tactile feedback. And then you button everything up the way you would the other chassis. And then when you want to remove it again, just take it out. So that is another specific chassis for this specific type of actuator. So set that to the side as well. All right, and then last but not least, use this one as another example. The last chassis is for those who want to use one of these shine through actuators. This would be ideal for those who want an illuminated switch. This has a bit of actuation here. If you have one of these Stock Custom Works pixel switch PCBs, that's the intended use. And then this chassis, which again looks similar to the others, just has a slightly different holder for the switch right here. For you to place that in there. Actually, I put that in backwards, it goes the other way. There we go. Same, but different. Okay. We'll unscrew this. And then also similar to the AV switch, this has a shorter spacer, but still necessary for a little bit of extra clearance. And there is a reason for that as well, just because this has a, just because it has more depth, and in order to be fully removable and not interfere with other electronics, notably the connector, you can see it's already right at its limit of where it can go. Anymore, if this sat any farther in, it wouldn't be able to go past that. So we add a little spacer here, and you can just drop that into the hilt, and it really doesn't add hardly anything to the visual, in my opinion. Makes it stand out better. Still allows you to slide it over. Nice tactile feedback. And if this was installed and lit up, you would see proper illumination. But chassis number 4 for that specific setup. So you have all your bases covered. You have a lot of options depending on how you want to install this, how you want to customize it. You're not going to be so limited as to what you can do. So if you're interested in picking up one of these hilts, they are a great starter hilt. They're super cheap, easy to customize, maybe something you want to practice, you know, your own weathering or skills of any sort. Definitely consider this, give this a shot. Also very easy to install. Lots of chassis design options for the major soundboards, different switch setups, and overall just kind of an easy install experience. So for those who were looking for any information on this hilt, I hope this video was helpful. If I didn't cover something specifically, just please feel free to reach out or send an email to me, and I will respond to you as quickly as possible. If you would like to request any powder coating or any type of customization, also feel free to reach out. I am currently open for commissions right now, and I'd love to discuss a custom project with you. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.